Hey guys, Snoopy here. Today we're looking at the Demagogue, who is the 8th and final leader in the base game of Arcs. The Demagogue has two traits. The first is bold. You declare an ambition. You may influence any number of cards in the court once. The second trait is paranoid. You cannot secure guild cards with only one loyal agent on them. You can secure Vox cards as normal. You ignore this if you ransack the court. Demagogue starts with two resources, a psionic resource and a weapons resource. And then we have standard setup, so one city and three ships in A, one starport and three ships in B, and two ships in C. What to say about Demagogue? I think you may look at this and think, okay, Demagogue is clearly a court focused and emphasized leader, so you have extra influence actions whenever you declare. But you need to not think of it that way. Instead, you need to think of this as this is strike at the right moment port ability. So you can declare multiple ambitions in the chapter, but most likely you're just doing one. So when you do your one declare of an ambition, you can do one card, two cards, three cards, even four cards. If you're doing four cards, you're usually just blocking the court so other players can't quickly snatch them out. If you're doing just three or two cards, then you're trying to just, again, protect those two from being sniped from you, and then possibly doing more influence actions to get your agents on it. But the reason is you can't get those cards yourselves usually without multiple declares or multiple influence actions because of your paranoid trait. You cannot get guild cards with just one agent. So you can't easily do the psionic relic combo yourself. You can stop other players with your bold trait, but you can't easily do it yourself unless it's just a Vox card. So overall, I would say Demagogue is a good defensive leader, just waiting, biding your time, being patient, and striking at the very right moment. That's where Demagogue can really excel, is that out of nowhere, you just get this extra influence action when you declared, and that's what you need to get the right Vox card or the right guild card at the right time. Here we have three lore cards we're highlighting. The first is Hidden Harbors. You always build ships fresh. When defending in battle, the attacker cannot collect raid dice if you have a fresh defending starport. Here, we're thinking through, if you do get a lot of guild cards, people are going to come at you. Wherever you have starports, you're going to be safe. They can't take raid dice. Another reason players may come after you is to destroy your cities, because if you do put a lot of agents in the court, even if you don't have the most agents on a card, they can just go for you, because if they destroy your city, they get that card just from your one agent on it. So Hidden Harbors takes away a lot of the spaces they could do that in, particularly if you do have a city and a 2-slot planet, you can just build a starport there and now it's protected. Warlord's Terror. While Warlord is declared, you may spend trophies in your prelude, returning them to influence once for each. This card and then Tyrant's Ego are both from the Leaders in Lore expansion pack. Here, we're thinking through how can we get even more influence actions? How can we do more of that? Because with our paranoid trait, we need to have really two influence actions on cards, not just one, if we want to get a guild card. And this lets us do that. We return a trophy, and we get this extra influence action in our prelude. One thing to note with this is that if you are attacking a player and destroy their city, you can return this before scoring. And so if there are a player who spread out and they have all 5 cities on the map, and you have 2 of them, you return both. And now when you score, even if they won an ambition or 2, they're not going to get their bonus city points because you put their cities back on their board before scoring happened. Finally, we have Tyrant's Ego. While Tyrant is declared, you may spend captives in your prelude, returning them to secure once for each. You also have a prelude action where you can discard this to clear weapons outrage. Again, we're just thinking through, if we are going for a court strategy, and we're not necessarily securing easily because we need 2 agents on it, I just want to have a consistent, protected way of securing. Well, captives are very secure unless you are scoring and declare Tyrant. These captives can't be touched or moved, I have a clear, easy way, if Tyrant is declared, to use this to get a secure action. And when I win, here we have 5 cards here for the court deck, 1 Vox card, and 4 guild cards. We have Secret Order, Galactic Bards, Populous Demands. These are here for a similar reason. These are centered around the idea of we want to declare, and this helps us either declare more times or to protect us when we do declare. So Secret Order, when you declare Keeper Empath, do not place a 0 marker. This card is protecting us. What do I mean by that? Well, if I'm declaring a Keeper Empath, that's a 5, a 6, or a 7. That's usually just 2 pips of actions or 1 pip of actions. And when we declare, we put the 0 marker. That means people who have a 2 or 1 with 4 action pips or 3 action pip card, they're going to get more actions than us, and they can outmaneuver us. They can punish us. It can be hard, and this is one reason why in games of Arcs you don't see Keeper Empath declared, because you don't want to give tempo to your opponents. Well, Secret Order protects you from that. Galactic Bards, when you surpass or pivot before taking any actions, you may declare the ambition on your play card if an ambition has not yet been declared this round. Not place a 0 marker. So again, we're protecting ourselves because the 0 marker is not placed. We get another ambition even though we didn't have the lead. So this is a great card that can help us when we are trying to get more ambitions declared to take those extra influence actions. And then finally, Populous Demands. When secured, you may declare any ambition. Again, we're thinking about this. We can get another ambition declared. We can declare an ambition, influence this, use an aggression card or relic to secure this. Now declare another ambition. So now we're taking more influence actions. So now I can influence the whole court twice just through Populous Demands. So that can be very, very strong. We have Loyal Keepers highlighted next. This is just highlighted because we need those secure actions. Influencing the court is only half the battle. You have to get those cards home, and securing is the easiest way to do that consistently. And so relics is what we're looking for. And even if we have relics outraged, we can use this card to help us with that. And this lets us use any resource as a relic. Finally, we have Prison Wardens here. If we are going for a court strategy, we're getting captives. We may be also taxing another player's city, getting captives that way. And Prison Wardens is just a way to pivot out of Tyrant. And so it has a couple abilities here. First is Press Gang, which is an alternate build action. Return any number of your captives to gain any 1 resource for each. Again, this is not multiple build actions to do this. It's just 1 build action to return any number of captives to get those same number of resources. And it can be multiple types. So if Tycoon's declared, I can get fuel material. If it's Keeper, I can get relics. If it's Empath, I can get psionics. I'm basically pivoting out of Tyrant to get whatever ambitions I need, and this can be done with a material resource. And so this is really powerful to do at the end of a chapter when everything's declared, people are finishing up. You now have the last word and pivot out of all your captives to do whatever resources you needed. And similarly, you can do Execute, which is just 1 influence action. Move any number of your captives to your trophies. So if Warlord's declared twice or even 3 times, so it's a really violent game this chapter, and everyone has a ton of trophies. Well, you had captives. Well, now you moved all those captives to your trophies box just with 1 influence action. It's important to note that this doesn't work with your bold trait, so you can't use your bold by declaring ambition to do this. But again, you could use a psionic, or you could use an administration card or mobilization card to get this done. And then finally, in your prelude, you can discard Prison Wardens to place 3 ships in a system you control. So if I'm Demagogue, any of these 5 cards I'm happy to see. Prison Wardens is the most flexible. Loyal Keepers is probably the most important. But in any of these 5, I'm really happy to see if I'm Demagogue. So Demagogue is a good leader. In certain matchups, Demagogue really shines. It can really be a thorn in the side of Feastbringer or Elder or even Mystic, just because he can really block the court by declaring ambitions. However, if you're not declaring ambitions, Demagogue can feel like he's just not doing anything, and that your paranoid ability can really hamper you and restrict you because you can't use the Psionic Relic combo like everyone else. So I would say Demagogue is a B tier leader. In certain matchups, he really does shine. And just again, remember, you don't have to go for the court full ham all the time, every time when you declare. Just pick your spots. And when you declare an ambition, you have alternative motives in mind. It's not because this is the best ambition for me. It's because I'm influencing the court in this way with this in mind. So with Demagogue, you have to think 2 or 3 moves ahead and not just think about the ambition you're declaring, but what follow-up actions you're going to do with the court, because you're getting multiple influences that can be very strong if you have a good follow-up. And that's something just to keep in Demagogue, is that if you're just going for just a random declare and random influence, you're just going to get burned almost every time. But if you can plan ahead and you have a good board state where you are protected, defensive, and you wait for the right time, you can go in out of nowhere and grab a bunch of ambitions. So I would say Demagogue is a B tier, but with the right pilot and right hand of cards, or even the right guild cards, Demagogue can definitely shine. That's what I got for you. Hope you enjoy. Thanks.